So today, I have no clients. I had one client, but the client canceled. I have no clients. Carlin's vehicle isn't getting fixed, which means she has my vehicle, which leaves me with no vehicle. My original thought today was I was going to put on my big boy pants and be responsible and do some stuff. But I weighed that against being stuck outside of town at home with no internet all day and thought, F that, I want to do something more interesting. So right now, I'm out walking the dogs. When Carlin leaves for work, she's going to drop me off at the mall. I'm going to get a day pass for the transit system, and I'm going to have some fun around Kingston.
Stay awake, stay awake. There is a miracle today. On its way, yeah. Wait a while, wait a while.
Alright, it's not the most elegant solution or the most pretty solution I've ever thought of for something. However, if this functions properly the way I want it to, I don't have to buy a directional microphone yet. No. You're all disappointments. This is a test of my makeshift directional microphone wind muffler. Does it work? It works great.
Something can make you smile. Here tonight. Our positivity will last for eternity.
So not a whole lot going on downtown Kingston. Some days I forget that Mondays people actually work and have jobs and whatnot. Just picking Carlin's car up. She's driving that home. I get my van back. Oh God, and I didn't move the steering wheel from when she was driving it. Oh. I don't think I actually showed this off. Well, let me show you my makeshift windbreaker. Kinda looks like Donald Trump had sex with my camera. Taking the dogs out for a walk. Now is probably a good time for us to have a little discussion about the goals that I want to set. So I want to avoid this video, I want to actively avoid making this a video about how to set goals. There's no right or wrong way to set a goal. There are ways that you can, I guess that's not really true either. You can absolutely set goals horribly wrong. For example, I see this all the time. My goal is to make $100,000 this year. Okay, good, that's great, but why? What's your North Star? What's your guiding light? What does your life look like when that goal is achieved? How does your life differ from what it is right now because you've achieved that goal? These are things that come to my mind, and I actively avoid setting arbitrary goals. I want there to be a purpose behind the goal. I want there to be some meat on the bones. I want to be a millionaire. Why? One thing that I found really interesting back when I was actually setting goals a little more frequently was I was guilty of this. I set a goal of like, I want to make $100,000 this year. And truthfully speaking, it was a goal that was slightly out of my reach. It was, the year before I had made something like $20,000 that year. So like setting the bar high and actually putting in the work to achieve it probably would have resulted in me making more money. I may not have made $100,000, but I definitely would have made more than 20, which I ended up doing anyways. The point I'm trying to get to is when I actually broke down what my life, how much money I needed to achieve the lifestyle I wanted to live, it was actually south of $100,000 a year. I discovered that I really, like on the higher end, only really needed to make about $70,000, $75,000 a year to live comfortably. Now I'm not there yet. I haven't had a year where I've made that much money. I'm working towards it. I'd say there's a couple of new guiding lights in my life that are they're affecting the way that I'm setting my goals and the way that I want to achieve the things that I want to achieve as well. Such as the arrival of my new daughter this August, right? Not born yet, but Brooklyn, my daughter, is due early August. That changed my plans a little bit. I didn't have the need to make any more money than I was making. I was kind of getting comfortable. The announcement of the new baby kind of pushed me for more, because now it's not that I want more, it's that I literally need more. So that is a factor in consideration for how I'm going to be setting my goals. When I set my goals, I really don't want them to be like arbitrary goals. I want them to have depth to them. I want them to have meaning. I want them to have purpose. And a lot of people set goals kind of like they're setting goals to meet somebody else's standards of living or somebody else's standards of success, not their own. So I'm gonna put out on this vlog my goals. I'm gonna talk to you guys about my goals, and then I'm gonna write them down, I'm gonna post them somewhere prominent, and we're gonna get to work on them. So what I like to do is I like to set around 5 goals for 6 month period of time is all I really want to work within. It's good to have long-term goals like a North Star to guide you, or like someday I want to own a Ferrari 458. Awesome. But you want to break it down into more achievable steps. For example, if your goal is to own a Ferrari someday, you want to find out how much it's going to cost to buy the car. You want to find out how much it's going to cost yearly for maintenance. You want to find out how much it's going to cost you for insurance. You want to find out where you can store it if you live in a climate like Canada where Ferraris aren't necessarily made for winter driving. These are things you need to know. And once you know them, you can break down the cost and understand exactly how much money you're gonna need to be making to afford the Ferrari lifestyle. So my goals for the next 6 months are pretty simple. Number one, with the exception of my vehicle payment, which is about a couple years off from being paid, with the exception of my vehicle payment, I wanna be completely free of debt. Now, I don't have a massive debt amount right now, and it's not something the number's not something I'm willing to talk about on the vlog, but it's safe to say that it's gonna require me to push myself to get out of it in 6 months. Which is kind of the idea. You wanna set goals that are just out of your reach. You don't wanna set goals that are so completely out of your reach that you're realistically never gonna achieve them. I'm not gonna be a millionaire in 6 months. I'm not being pessimistic, I'm being realistic. That's the reality of the situation. However, knowing how much I owe, I can totally get myself out of debt in 6 months if I work hard enough and allocate my money to the proper resources. So that's goal number one. Goal number two is I want to have my family in a livable home suitable for our needs and our growth within the next 6 months. It's not enough to simply say I want to be in a new home or I want a bigger home, or you have to understand what that entails. For that to be one of my goals, I have to take my income from here to here. I have to be able to afford extra. So there's some subsequent goals that end up going into this just based on that goal. Same with the debt equation, right? I need to be making more money so I can pay off that debt. So those two goals have kind of dictated the other ones, which is number 3, launch a new service for my dog training company. A service that's more predicated on smaller, frequent, reoccurring payments rather than the bulk payment of a learning program, which is the general business model of how I operate right now. How my business operates right now is it's like tuition, right? You pay for a program, you learn the things you need to learn, you get results, and then typically, if I do my job right, I might hear from you every couple of months, or I might hear from you for an update, or if you have a particularly tricky dog, you might have to come back for a couple extra sessions, but other than that, that's about it. This service will allow for reoccurring payments, so I have return clientele, which I don't have, right? It's hard to succeed in a business where your business model is predicated on always finding new clients. So goal number 3 is to launch that new service, which is going to require me to do a little bit of work. I got to figure out what I need legally. I got to figure out what I need to do as far as service agreements goes. And then once I get the service up and off the ground, and I've been responsible for it for a little bit, I'm going to start hiring for it, which is going to open up a brand new kettle of worms within my business. There are things that I need to think about within that realm that I've never had to think about before. I've never had staff. I've never been at the point where I needed staff. But with this new service, hopefully I'll be able to delegate it to people rather than having to be personally responsible for it, which also creates a stream of passive income for me. That's goal number 3. Goal number 4, I want to relaunch and better advertise and push my book. Now, I think I mentioned my book in the vlog the other day. Around, it was like last year, I think, I wrote a book, and it it was really one of those things where I sat down with a goal in mind. I wanted to write a book, so kind of like we were talking about earlier, and I did it. I wrote a book, and it's 172 pages on my first 5 years as a professional dog trainer. Did okay in sales. Honestly, I sold more than I thought I was going to. Definitely not enough to make me rich. It was enough to pay for a couple of things the month that I got my first commission check, which was nice, or royalty check, whatever you want to call it. So that was really cool. It was the first time I ever really earned money from something like that. And it was the first time I ever really earned like decent money from something like that. However, I encountered a snag with the people that were responsible for printing and publishing my book, where the first month or two it was released, there was a problem with their shipping cart. And once they got it resolved, it resulted in people outside of the US having to pay an obscene amount of money for shipping and handling, something like $35 just for shipping and handling, which for a $20 book plus $35 for shipping and handling, nobody wants to pay $55 for a book. So I've looked into a different distributor, and I now am at the point where I need to order a proof, make sure everything's in working order, and I'm going to push it a little harder than I did last time, which means I'm going to be promoting it on my channel more. I'm going to be pulling content from it. I'm going to be doing talks and maybe book signings in the area. My hope is I can make it a bigger mainstay in my income, but also as a credibility indicator for what could be paid speaking engagements. So another way, Loki's being pushy. Another way of building my income up, another way of adding another stream of revenue to the money that I'm going to require to goal number 1, pay off my debt. Goal number 2, get my family into a new house. That's goal number 4. Very important to put them where you can see them. Hey, I want to thank you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Do that thing that you do on social media when you like the person that's making the social media. You know what it is. I shouldn't have to tell you at this point. Oh my coffee.